Brentuximab vedotin is still licensed as a salvage therapy for patients relapsing after high-dose therapy. But we had the opportunity to realize a small pilot study using brentuximab vedotin in first line as a single agent for 2 courses, and then we started with conventional chemotherapy, ABVD. What we found was impressive. 11 patients out of 12, means all but one, achieved a complete metabolic response with 2 courses of brentuximab and started the treatment for Hodgkin lymphoma without any sign of disease at time of ABVD.
So was that monotherapy with brentuximab?
For 2 courses, but so being just a proof of concept study, we continued, although we achieved a complete remission, we continued with a standard therapy. That means 3 or 4 courses of ABVD. And at the end, we have 100% of complete response rate.
It sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here, do you think?
Now, probably we have enough reasons to propose 4 or 6 courses of brentuximab vedotin alone, and nothing else, at least in the subgroup of patients with favorable Hodgkin lymphoma, young females, patients with limited mediastinal mass. So then we could avoid chemotherapy and radiotherapy to these patients, avoiding also the risk of late side effects.
Are there any toxicities with using brentuximab?
For using brentuximab for 4 courses or 6 courses is associated with very limited and manageable toxicity. So the only emerging toxicity is neurotoxicity, but this happens with 8 or more courses of therapy. So at the beginning, few courses, we didn't observe any kind of neurological toxicity. We have to take care because sometimes people treated with brentuximab experience some increase on liver enzyme and pancreatic enzyme. So we have to take care of this patient to be sure that there is not pancreatic suffer from this treatment.
So what should doctors be taking home from these facts so far from this early study?
Probably, so in the next future, brentuximab could be also licensed as first-line therapy, avoiding any kind of chemo or radiotherapy, at least in a limited number of well-selected patients.
Do you think it's going to rest there, or will you go on to further therapy following brentuximab? Is that likely?
Now, to be sure, we have, so I prefer to start, if it's possible, to start with the brentuximab and then use chemotherapy if necessary. But so it's too early to arrive at this conclusion. We have to test for more and more years before arriving at this definition on the best use of molecules like the brentuximab vedotin.